welcome to the fourth episode of For a Day. Our first word today is an idiom. It is turn up for the books. Turn up for the books is a surprise. It's an unusual event, something that you weren't expecting. And the etymology of the word is quite interesting because it comes from the world of gambling. The first part of the expression that was used was turn up, and it was used in card games because depending on which card turned up, you could get extra points or extra credit or not. And so turn up, that meant that you had a bit of luck. And then later on in the 19th century, in the world of horse racing, bookmakers wrote down all of the bets and all of the horses that were betted on and the amounts people betted and so on into books. And if a horse won that wasn't in the book, then that was good news for the bookmaker because he could keep all the money and didn't have to pay anybody. So that was a horse winning that wasn't in the book was a turn up for the books. Now, if you use it today, it has a slightly positive connotation, but it's just a surprise. It doesn't have to be the most fantastic surprise or really good surprise, but it normally doesn't refer to something very negative. And examples can be, he has a girlfriend and he introduces her to his friends. Now that's a turn up for the books. Or, fancy you're here too. What a turn up for the books. Next word. Oh, and I forgot. Turn up for the books is quite informal, so you can't use it in essays that ask for academic style. But our next word you can use in those essays, and that's to mitigate. To mitigate means to make something bad less serious or less painful. So plans can be developed to mitigate poverty. Or if you remember our word of the other day, furlough, the government's furlough schemes try to mitigate the worst effects of the corona lockdown. And another meaning of mitigate is to lessen an offence. That refers to courtrooms. So you could plead guilty with mitigating circumstances, or the judge could consider mitigating circumstances. A verdict can factor in mitigating circumstances. You could also use mitigating circumstances outside of the courtroom if you refer to somebody who's made a mistake, but there were mitigating circumstances. The next word is quite beautiful. It is picturesque. It comes from a French word that you probably know better how to pronounce than I do. And picturesque is an adjective. It means visually attractive in a charming way, a bit romantic, delightful. And you normally use picturesque with villages or streets or cottages or settings. I've got two examples for you. One of a picturesque village and one of a picturesque cottage, thatched cottage. And the last word is a noun, it's realm. Realm is an old word. It was introduced into the English language in the Middle English period. And back then it was used as a synonym of kingdom. Also in Shakespeare and Richard III, this is the way it is used. realm means kingdom. But nowadays, realm rather means a sphere of study or a field of interest. So, for example, the realm of the law or the realm of science. And there is the expression beyond the realms of possibility that is used especially in articles and texts like that. And you could, for example, say, if you think of us today and at the moment, that school closures and business lockdowns was beyond the realms of possibility before the corona outbreak. And this expression can also be adapted to express other things. For example, the realms of the bizarre. You could enter the realms of the bizarre, or a topic could belong to the realms of the hypothetical. So you could make up, I think, quite interesting combinations, and I'm looking forward to you using one of them in the future. That was all from me today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.